Morning, back again. All right, so last week I remembered, hang on Bailey, I remembered I'd not fitted these to that bike. So the carbs are sitting on there, but without these shields on. So this is the one that belongs on this side. Notice we've got two large rubber bungs and a small sort of, I don't know what you want to call that, just a rubber grommet. Okay, they've been blasted to get rid of all this soot and fire damage material. Luckily these rubber bungs don't seem to have melted at all, which is good. So this is the one from this side. The one on the left hand side, which would be fitted to the bike like that, has got two very similar rubber bungs like that. There's no grommet on this one though. Okay, so I've blasted them. I'm just going to sort of clean them up a little bit more, and then I might just drop a bit of silver paint onto these just to make them look a bit prettier. And then we'll sort of take these back off on here and see how they mount exactly, because I don't know. Okay, we're just going to have to do a little bit of a voiceover. The next scene you're going to see, we're stripping and rebuilding the helmet lock. The key didn't work properly with it, and we lost a few scenes at the beginning, so we'll go straight into it now. So the copper looking one, that's a retainer. So that stops this from disappearing out of the housing. So this would sit in, and in the back end you'll be able to see that. I'll show you later how to get it out. But so imagine that you're now looking at the back side. So the key comes in from this side, and all you can see is that little shiny edge. And so what you end up doing is taking your screwdriver and kind of working it away, and you're trying to kind of push that in against the spring, and then you can push the whole barrel down and out. And now what we can see is when I put the key in with all the little...
Will you stop moving?
Okay, sorry. All right.
Trying to focus.
Right.
It's not me, guys.
Okay, you see how the key's got all the highs and lows? Well, each of these, take them out. As you push the key through, it's going to reach a position which matches these pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let's put that back in there for a sec. There, okay. So as they're all raised up at the moment, when it's sitting inside this, I don't know if you can see sort of through it, there's a channel. Right, well, in order for this key to in order for the whole lock assembly to rotate, all of those need to be flat. Can you see one that isn't? This one here? Okay, so either the key is wrong or something's off, but three of them are nice and flush. So what I can do, I think anyway, is I can shave off some of that. And then this key will match this barrel and we can use it. So I'll get back to you in a minute or two when I've taken a bit of this off. Now what we've done, when you put the key in, 1, 2, 3 are smooth and level. Number 4 is the one I've shaved down. It's well recessed out of the way at the moment. So, and number 5 is still sort of slightly proud. And what?
Take 10.
Take 10? 2, you liar. Right. So what happens now, I push it in all the way and I can turn it. It only turns a little bit, right? But that's all it is supposed to move. Right, you see this amount of movement here on the back? Okay, that's the amount of movement you need. So what I'll do now is I'll put the little retainer in.
Yeah.
Okay, so the tiny little spring goes in that tiny little hole there. And its job, if you look at this thing here, is to press against that edge, hold it out. So at the minute it's springing. Okay. So now what we're going to try and do, refit it into here. Easier said than done. Enjoying this, aren't you?
And just put it together and then go, ta-da, done.
Well, I took it apart one more time just to show my wife. And she buggered off. What was you doing? I don't
Went for a poo. No, I didn't. I didn't. I absolutely didn't.
So much info.
I just got bored of standing here.
No way. This is not boring at all. There's got to be a knack to this. Fucking force it in with a hammer. It was working perfectly until I put the spring in. Now the spring's doing its job a little bit too well. I mean, I can see that there's no way I'm going to get that in there. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe. Could be something about some of these cutaways and the way they're designed.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Oh my God. Okay. I'm not pulling it out again to fucking show you. However, if you ever run into that problem and you're looking from the top, there's a specific slot that's kind of cut away. It's only part way down. And then because your little slidey piece is sticking out, you sort of put that into there, then you rotate it and it crushes it in, and then the whole assembly goes back together like that. And sure enough, yes, I'm working. Right, so now if I take the key out, you'll be able to see the copper. Can you see that in there?
Yeah.
The copper plate is slid out. Right, so if I wanted to remove this barrel now, I've got to get something in here and kind of push that back in, and then the whole thing will slide out. Okay, now that is moving beautifully. Really nice. Okay.
Are you going to take it apart and paint it?
No, I'm not. Well, I'm gonna paint it. Yeah, I'm not taking it apart though. Right, now we're gonna put the bits back together. Okay, so this piece is the bit that acts upon the lock, which looks like it's jammed in at the minute. Right, there it goes. Right, so that there's got a large cutaway, goes through there, and then this piece is going to engage with it. It's got a spring-loaded thing there. God, this is all awkward and small, so a bit like you, you're awkward and small. Okay, right. So that's in there now? All right. And, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's a bit sticky at the minute. So maybe I'll
Clean that bit.
WD-40 it to death.
Okay, it needs the dust.
Okay. Now you've got this plate. Just while that's soaking in there for a second. You've got this plate with a spring on it. It's got a cutaway, so you can only fit this one way. You can't possibly get that wrong, can you, Dave? Watch me. Hold my beer. Okay. So that spring's going to go against that bit and hold it down. And the cutaway goes there. Okay, cool. Put my little screws in.
Don't worry, you won't make them watch as long as I've had to stand there and watch.
No, they get the shortened version. Now, we've got the same kind of problem with the fuel cap, so I have also got an alternate solution for that. Oh, look at that. That's going great, isn't it? Right, so, yep. Oh, beautiful. It's like it's just come off the factory floor showroom, isn't it? Sort of thing. Are you impressed with that? How long did that take? About 5 hours?
I was going to say about 3 hours.
Fucking 10 minutes.
No, it hasn't taken 10 minutes.
It has. Anyway, that's perfect.
The video will show it's not taken 10 minutes.
Yeah, and of course you need this to kind of work so that you get proper access to the head of the screw that's going to hold it in there. Okay, so I think I'll just degrease everything and
Cool.
then give it a bit of paint. See you in a sec. Right. Can't buy battery acid. We've cleaned up the old battery and topped it up with some demineralised water. It's on charge. Maybe it'll come back to life or not, I don't know. We've refitted this, which as you can see now works perfectly.
You can see it because Billy stuck her head in front of it.
Okay. Bailey, move bum. Move your bum. Okay. Works perfectly. Refit this. Okay, so now we can continue.
Vroom, vroom, it's done.
Well, yeah. Electric start, I wish. Okay, so carbs and pipe work, I think, next. Along with these things. Looking half tidy. Now, okay. So just undone these two clamps and taking the carb off. The first thing I noticed from looking at the other bike is that that clamp, the upper clamp, actually goes that way around.
Okay.
Okay. Next thing is this pipe. I'll replace this pipe in a minute or two, but this pipe is going to go through one of the holes in that freshly painted heat shield, I'm going to call it. I need to replace this one. Then there are two short ones that go through here. We'll have a look on the other bike in a second or two. These ones are actually to do, there's a little test that you do when you've got the bike in situ to make sure that your float valves are opening and closing in at the right position. Screw here. And so you open that and then fuel will come out of the bowl and it will rise to the same level as it is inside the bowl so you can see it. That's the purpose of these two. This pair of pipes here actually are supposed to be tied together, I believe. We'll have a good look at it in a second. But where I'm going with it is that you've got three different sizes of pipe. You've got this type of pipe here, then you've got the little thin ones at the base, and you've got these ones. Okay, another thing that's got to happen as well is when you're operating the throttle, you see that piece of metal there and that little cutaway. So that's not going all the way open.
Yeah.
Okay, can I have a look at this? Okay, so those, we'll call these the medium-sized pipes. They just go curling over. Doesn't actually go to anywhere. It gets a cable tied to this pipe, and that pipe comes up, gets a cable tied to that pipe. Okay. And you all right?
You told me to take a look.
I did. Sorry. Right. I can't show you the little pipes and where they're going to at the moment. But what I'll do is I'll undo. Can you see how there's that's the end of the clamp. All right, so I'll get that. It's all right, I'll get back to you in a sec. Let me know whenever you're ready. Okay, so the first clamp, you can see it's up here. My fingers are. Right. And then the second clamp is down here, which may be harder for you to get around to see. Yeah? So it's coming out just above that coolant pipe there. I'll get onto it now. Here's me thinking you're not, and you are. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to video and let everybody watch you struggle. We'll come back when you're ready. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I got it. See, all I had to do was like pull like fuck it. It's hooked over. But, you'd like to think that it was going to hold on tight, wouldn't you? The two little tiny pipes I was looking for here and here, they're not fitted. Did you get it? Or you didn't?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
It's just like miles away.
There.
Right,
This is a
that
rubber
one.
grommet in that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have to put this, make sure this coolant pipe is on from here to here, aren't we? Before we go and fit the carb.
We are.
And then these kind of sit like that, but they're just resting there.
Guessing it's held in place by everything else.
Yeah. So the cables from the power valve motor, at the moment, mine are coming across to the right-hand side of the thermostat housing. I'm just going to pop the thermostat housing off because. Okay. So that's as easy as that. You've got a rubber O-ring here. That goes in there. And that bolts in there. So these two come that side. Okay, job done. Okay, so correct routing of these two cables up, round to here, left hand side of the thermostat housing. That clamp goes onto there and then down. Okay, I'm going to connect this one, sort of L shape if you will, from here.
Yep.
Yep, to there.
Yep.
Okay.
Getting baileyed.
That's okay. Okay, so we've got the first pipe on the left-hand side, and it goes up and feeds into the top of the rear bank, between the top of that lower bank and into the thermostat housing. So now I need a little coolant pipe to go from here, and it's got to snake around the back of where the plate is going to go onto the front of here. It's got to go around the back of that and into here.
Okay.
All right? Okay, so this coolant pipe here looks to be a little bit too long, but that's the way it is on this bike. And if you pop over here, the reason I wanted to cross-reference there is because I've just fitted this one here. I've not put the clamps into the right spot just yet. But you see how it's kind of tucked behind there. It's got a bit of excess. So it looks the same as that one. And this is the one that came off of this bike, so it's the same as well. It just looks a little unnatural being that sort of length. Okay, so just before I mount this plate, I just thought I'd show you what I've done with the piping. So this pinky sort of clear pipe came with a kit from Yambits. So remember, this is to do with the float height. So you open that valve there, and what you should see is the height of the petrol here in relationship to where it is actually inside the bowl. And then the service manual will tell you exactly where that's supposed to be. But that's the purpose of that little clear pipe. You can see it on both. So I've just cable tied it to the adjoining fuel pipe from top to bottom. And then on the back, we've got these two here. And I've just cable tied them to each other. So then you've got the fuel pipe that comes across from this side of the bike. Now I'm going to replace this in a minute or two, but that's going to go in to here.
Okay.
All good? Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Just obviously fitted the new fuel hose there. Sliding this over the grommet. You're on. Okay. There we go. So top tip, yeah, just slide the bottom one in first, and then the upper one, and I'll start to clamp them down in a sec. So we're going to replicate this T-piece position here. It's going to come up from the carburetor. It's going to tee off here. That would then go across to the carburetor on the right hand side. Meanwhile, this piece is going to come down to the fuel tap. Yeah, to the fuel. So we've got the left-hand carb body, and we've renewed this piece from the lower carb to the upper carb, and then another short section to here, and then we're going to insert the T-piece. So the top of the T is running left to right there, and we can then connect it into this piece. See? Bit of a point to note about this T-piece is what you can probably see there is it's got a larger section, and that larger section, I look at the diameter of this and the diameter of that, and this is the same, whereas all the pipe that's been supplied so far has got a smaller diameter that fits onto these pipes. They go onto there perfectly well, but I don't think there's any chance of getting that one in there. Mm-hmm. So that's where the second stage pipe comes.
Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. So what's confusing me here, and I'll have to go back and check the manual, I guess. I know I'm cheating by just going up to another bike and copying it, but as we've already seen in episode 3 where these brake pipes are in the wrong spot, I'm now looking at the way that the hoses are connected onto this fuel tap. So we've got at the very bottom, 1 large, 2 large, 3 large connections, okay? So over here, if I position, you'll probably come around this side. If I put this fuel tap, similar to this fuel tap now, so I've got the rotary control here and here. Notice at the top here, that pipe is coming round, goes to here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that top connection there on that bike has been used to splice into, I'm going to take the bottom one here where my finger is. I don't know if you can see that. You see that?
It's very hard to see.
Okay, sorry. How about this? You see that T-piece connection?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the T-piece that we're working on the left-hand bike. Sorry, the other bike over there in a sec. That's coming down, around, and it's coming in at the base. It's coming in at the base of the tap. It's coming in here. Whereas you can clearly see that the tap that came off Ron Burgundy, the burnt bike, well, they're both burnt, but these two are here. So that's bothering me.
Research.
Yeah, I'll have to just quickly consult the manual, much as I don't like to do that. I'll go and do that now. So whilst consulting the manual, we lost all the audio, and we certainly didn't find sufficient detail in there to figure out what was the correct route between the fuel tank, the fuel tap, and then into the main branch towards the carbs. Go on to the RD500 Owners Club, start looking at fuel tap, see that people have been rebuilding them. It became quite clear that from the fuel tank, you've got the two pipes, they go into the top of the tap, the middle of the tap, and then the outlet at the base of the tap, that's the one that then goes towards the carburetors. So, simple. All right, at this stage, just before I'm going to put the left-hand carbs on, I'm just routing the cables from the stator out of the way. Figured out what was going on with the fuel tap. Nice. Got some new hose, cut it to length, got it all fitted up. And all in all, it was a good day. It was quite lengthy. We've now completed, what did we say, was it 17? 18 days. 18 days. And yeah, that's a wrap from us, and we'll see you next week. Hope you enjoyed it.